Chapter 23. Story Writing. Writing a story is a very interesting task. As we like to read and listen to stories, many of us also like to write stories. Lots of practice makes us a good story writer. A story narrates an incident, real or imaginary. Read the given stories carefully and enjoy. 1. Fools. It was a cold and silent night. The weather was freezing cold. A group of monkeys were on a tree. They were clinging to its branches. One of the monkeys said, "I wish we could find some fire. It will help us to keep warm." Suddenly they noticed a flock of fireflies. One of the young monkeys thought it was fire. He caught a firefly. He put it under a dry leaf and started blowing at it. Some other monkeys also joined in his efforts. In the meanwhile, a sparrow came flying to its nest, which was on the same tree the monkeys were sitting on. She noticed what they were doing. The sparrow laughed. She said, "Hey silly monkeys, that is a firefly, not real fire. I think all of you should take shelter in a cave." The monkeys did not listen to the sparrow. They continued to blow at the poor firefly. After some time, the monkeys became very tired. Now they realized that what the sparrow had said was correct. They set free the firefly and moved to a nearby cave. Moral: always pay heed to a well-wisher's advice. 2. A fox and a crane. Once a fox and a crane became friends. So, the fox invited the crane to dinner. The crane accepted the invitation and reached the fox's place at sunset. The fox had prepared soup for his mate. But as we all know that foxes are cunning by nature, he served the soup in flat dishes. So, he himself lapped the crane's share with his tongue, too. But the crane could not enjoy it at all with his long beak and had to go back home hungry. The shrewd fox felt extremely amused. After a few days, the crane invited the fox to a dinner at his place. The fox reached his place in time. The crane gave him a warm welcome and served the soup in a jug with a long and narrow neck. So, the crane enjoyed the soup with great relish using his long beak. The fox's mouth couldn't reach the soup through the narrow neck of the jug. He had to return home hungry. Now, he realized that he had been repaid for his behavior with the crane. Moral: tit for tat. 3. How many crows in the kingdom? Akbar was a great Mughal emperor and Birbal was his witty minister. One day, Akbar was taking a walk in his garden with Birbal. Many crows were flying around. As he observed the birds flying, he thought of asking Birbal a tricky question. He asked, "How many crows are there in our kingdom, Birbal?" Birbal thought for a moment, and then said, "There are 95,463 crows in your kingdom, Huzur." "How do you know that for sure?" the emperor asked. "You can get them counted, Huzur," Birbal said. The emperor again said, "If there are less than that, then," Birbal replied immediately, "that means that the rest of them have gone on vacation to some neighboring kingdoms." "And if there are more than that, then?" asked Akbar. "Then it means that other crows have come to visit their relatives in our kingdom, Huzur," said the witty minister. Akbar was very pleased with the answer that Birbal gave and gave him a suitable reward. Moral: nothing is impossible for the human brain. 4. Bad company. A young boy fell in bad company. He developed many bad habits. His father was much worried about the habits of his son. He tried his best to mend his habits but could not succeed. One day, he thought of a plan to teach his son a lesson. He went to the market and purchased some fresh raw apples and a rotten one. He came back to his home and called his son. He asked his son to put all the raw apples along with the rotten one in the basket. He also instructed his son to eat the apples when they are ripe. The son did the same. After some days, the father asked his son to bring the apples. As he brought the basket, he was surprised to note that all the apples had become rotten. He felt sad as his father told him to see how one rotten apple had spoiled all the rest. In the same way, one bad companion could spoil all others. The father's advice had the desired effect. The boy gave up bad company and became good again. Moral: we should leave bad company immediately. 5. Strong or weak? There was a proud teak tree in the forest. He was tall and strong. There was a small herb next to the tree. The teak tree said, "I am very handsome and strong. No one can defeat me." Hearing this, the herb replied, "Dear friend, too much pride is harmful. Even the strong will fall one day." The teak ignored the herb's words. He continued to praise himself. A strong wind blew. The teak stood firmly. Even when it rained, the teak stood strong by spreading its leaves. During these times, the herb bowed low. The teak made fun of the herb. One day, there was a storm in the forest. The herb bowed low. As usual, the teak did not want to bow. The storm kept growing stronger. The teak could no longer bear it. He felt his strength giving way and fell down. Moral: too much pride is harmful. Chapter 24. Poster making. A poster is an excellent way to get your point across quickly. We can understand the feelings or the views of the person just by looking at it. A poster should be made neat and clean and easily understandable. Now, color the given poster on the following topics. 1. Save trees. Plant a tree, so that next generation can get air for free. 2. Save water, save life.